so cool, just kind of taking a step back from a sort of a KLNB or company perspective, standing here with you here in the middle of Loudoun County, and underneath, next to what, three substations, underneath all this power.
Almost a gigawatt of power right here. Yeah.
Talking to somebody that does, this data center stuff. And, a couple months ago, we were with Jim Corona, at a flex warehouse, industrial kind of park, mature, stabilized industrial park. And then a couple months before that, we were with Jem Price in the middle of Georgetown and like doing high street retail. I mean, it's just really cool. I'm really proud to, that KLNB has its fingers in all this sort of stuff. It's really cool.
Yeah, this is an interesting, it's an interesting niche. And there's not a lot of groups that do it. And, we're sitting here in traditionally, this is like the heaviest industrial you get in Loudoun right here. And believe it or not, this property is in high demand, not just for data, but for industrial.
Yeah.
And these guys here, they're landscapers.
Where are they all going?
Don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know. But, prices have gotten so high. They're sitting here looking like, okay, I can make X amount of money running my business, or I can just sell my land.
Right.
I'll figure it out later.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what's going on.
But there's a lot of these users. There's other opportunities out there for us people in the real estate game.
Yep.
Figure all that out too.
Yeah.
All the spillover effects of all this is, it's a challenge and it's a problem, but it's also, an opportunity for.
It is, it's a challenge and an opportunity. The industrial users, they're getting priced out because everyone's getting displaced. The properties that are available for their use that maybe aren't data center land are so expensive, they might not be able to operate in that.
Right.
And it's something that the county itself is looking at. Not a great solution. Nobody really wants this heavy industrial stuff in their backyard either.
Right. But what does it do for the tax base? We know why the jurisdictions don't like it. Why do they like it?
Well, the jurisdictions used to like it because it brings massive tax base. The amount of tax revenue that data centers bring to this county is unfathomable. So it was always the darling. It was a great thing. When it turned to be a negative thing was when new power infrastructure came in. Power lines were starting to be run in maybe locations they shouldn't have been run in. I'll also say that there was a lot of miseducation in the market. So data centers were popping up next to neighborhoods. And then everyone was complaining about data centers being so close to residents. Well, what people don't really realize, and this is how a lot of misinformation gets put out there, was in a lot of instances where those data centers were developed, that was a by right use. And really the neighborhood got rezoned, placed next to heavy industrial.
Right.
Yet, because the data center came second, it's their fault.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's every instance, but that certainly had occurred. I understand there's places data centers don't belong, but there's also places that they do belong.
Yeah.
So let's work to put them in the right places and concentrate on that versus just saying no to everything.
Yeah. Are you going to see a lot of data centers in some of the other counties surrounding our region here?
Yes. So for example, just to the north of the river here in Frederick County, there's been some activity up there. They've actually put an executive order in place to stop all data center applications.
In Frederick County?
In Frederick County. And that's really just so they can control where they go. And they don't want to be in a position where their data centers are popping up in locations they don't want it. So they basically put a stop on everything and said, we want to control this, we want to manage it before we allow this. Latency used to be a huge deal, still is. With the whole AI movement, latency is becoming less of an issue. So now you're seeing groups go out in the middle of nowhere, putting up massive campuses.
Why is latency less of an issue with AI? I would think it would be more of an issue.
Where latency comes in, you're talking really small amounts of time, right? So where latency is huge issues is when it's credit card processing times.
Okay.
It's really, really important information that needs to transfer back and forth. AI is still fast. Someone can wait 10 seconds for the
somebody
computer
to respond to that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Plus, the AI needs so much computing power. You can't do it on a 20-acre site or a 30-acre site. You need a 400-acre site, or large campuses. You need large amounts of computing power in one location.
Yeah, but I'm guessing when you got into commercial real estate, whenever that moment was where you said, I'm going to do this business, I'm guessing you didn't say to yourself at that time, I'm going to be a data center expert. Talk to me a little bit about how you got in this game.
Yeah, so I've been doing really industrial and some office, but majority industrial real estate for almost 20 years now in this market. And so, you know, as I grew in the industrial market, it happened to be that's the same zoning that data centers needed. So as data center market exploded, I kind of went with it and I grasped onto it because I'm looking for industrial development parcels, which then turned into data center development parcels. And clearly data center development is lucrative, and you can't ignore it in this county. And so why not?
Yeah.
Why not, you know, be a part of it?
I feel like you, your family, your upbringing have always been in the land arena in some form or fashion. If not, I think there's some farming in the family and stuff like that. So I feel like it was ingrained in there a little bit deeper. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I mean, yeah, you're probably right. I mean, I was born on a farm in Percival. At some point, my father decided not to be a farmer anymore, and he got into commercial real estate. He's been with KLNB for, I don't know, 30 some years. And you're right. You know, he was one of the few brokers that actually got into land development. He actually did a lot of work right on Beaumeade Circle in Ashburn, which was where some of the first data centers were located. In fact, I think he'll tell you that he did one of the first data center deals in Ashburn.
Yeah.
And so, absolutely, when I came to work with him, it was kind of a natural fit where I learned land development from him. I learned kind of the area that he was focused on, and I'll tell you what, he was well ahead of his time in that industry. Where we are right now, this is a great example of kind of what we look for. It's super glamorous, I know, but you know what me and my team did here is we assembled 8 properties, 8 different owners, and for a client bought all 8 properties. We combined them, site planned them, brought power to them. And then
this is part of that assemblage.
This right here
right.
is where we're standing, and then we package it up and we go out and market it to the end user. We basically do all the heavy lifting, and take it to them and say, here, it's in pretty package with a bow.
Right.
Put your building up.
Zoned. It's got the power. It's assembled.
That's it.
And is it typically marketing to an end user, or are you typically marketing?
You know, it depends. A lot of times it's to an end user, and a lot of times it's to maybe a preferred developer of that end user. Yeah. So it could go both ways.
Yeah. And we're what, a quarter of a mile from where we were just standing?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. All those big power lines. Yeah, we're right down the street. Yeah.
But most of these, when you speak of data centers, are they typically a user in a data center? Because aren't there others that are?
There are. There's the hyperscalers that will typically, you know, use the whole facility themselves. And then there's the co-locators that will build a facility and they'll lease out to a bunch of different users, really.
Is there, here we're in Loudoun County, do you see more of one than the other, or it's a mixed bag of it all?
You know, as of late, these facilities have gotten so large and the demand has gotten so big. We've seen a lot of hyperscaler activity. It's a lot of the large users. But
is that because it's gotten so large, or is it because the end users have already planted their flag here?
Both. Yeah. I mean, it's just the appetite's gotten so large. So you've got a few really large players, and they can't get enough. And so, you know, anytime you have a larger site like this is 112 acres, you're generally going to get the hyperscaler activity. Yeah. Smaller sites, you might see some of the co-locator guys.
Yeah. Cool. So you talked about the team here, and you mentioned the team assembled this property. Talk about the team. Why? How many people are on the team? Why do you need a team? What does different people on the team do?
Yeah, so it's me, and I got 3 others. Chase, Jeff, and our newest hire who interned us this summer, Tyler. Team's really important. I mean, as I mentioned, we had to buy from 8 different property owners here. I can't tell you the amount of work that goes into getting a hold of those owners, asking them if they want to sell. The answer is always no, about 15 times. Giving them offers, following up, getting hung up on, visiting their house. I mean, truly, we pull out all stops because, you know, you buy 7 properties and there's one guy in the middle and it ruins the whole assembly. So it's just a lot of manpower. It's a lot of man hours. It's a lot of work for everyone.
Yeah.
And so, team, I couldn't do it without them, quite frankly. Yeah.
Why do you like working at KLNB?
A lot of what you mentioned. Number one, culture's amazing here, and we've got such a great subset of unique disciplines that we cover all bases. For a local regional firm that operates like one of the big shops, it really is a unique place to work. You know, there's no bad apples. A lot of good reasons to be at KLNB.
Well, awesome. Thanks for taking the time, man. I've really enjoyed getting to know you in the past whatever years since I've been at KLNB.
Yeah.
It's impressive to watch you and your team do what you do, and I've learned a ton from you guys. So
Happy to be here. Appreciate your leadership, and we'll keep pushing along.
awesome. Thanks, man.
Thanks, Mark.